Hey guys, Old Guy Gaming here, back again with another MTG Arena video, and tonight we're going to be doing Mono Green Ozolith. So, if you rewind the clock, about a month and a half ago when we were into Ikoria preview season and this card was previewed, the Ozolith, there were so many people claiming how broken this card was, like how it would break standard, how it's one of the most powerful cards that was ever printed. A lot of MTG YouTubers that I love and respect went on and on and on about how broken this card was. So what happened to it? Like, why isn't it the most prominent card in Standard today? Well, the short answer to that question is that companions are really, really, really strong. And it doesn't really fit in anywhere into the current meta where it made, except for maybe Mono White Life Gain, where it actually isn't in use. So while it very well may be a very powerful card, which I still genuinely believe, I think the card is explicitly broken, but it doesn't have anything to fit in with. So I've been trying some decks out. I think I did a mono white deck whenever it first came out, trying to play with it, but I decided I'm going to go with one of my favorite combinations for mono colors, and that's going to be mono green, and see if I can try to get this thing to work and see if I can get it off. So this is more of a fun deck. This is more of a kitchen table kind of thing, not necessarily super competitive. So if you do enjoy the content, like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what combinations you've used the Ozolith with. I'm looking for good combinations. It doesn't have to be mono. It doesn't have to be a mono deck. It just has to be something where it kind of fits in, and I can't seem to find a place for it. So maybe this might work. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. So I'm looking for, obviously, for, if you don't know the card, we'll go over it, a 1 casting cost legendary artifact called the Ozolith. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, meaning dies or is, bounced in one way, shape, or form, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of your combat turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all of those counters onto that creature. So basically, how many times have you played a game where you're building all these 1/1 counters on top of all these creatures, and then someone board wipes and then they go away, and then all those counters are gone? Well, this artifact saves them, holds them, and the next creature that lands keeps them. So it's not just the +1/+1 counters that I want to manipulate, though. There's a couple of other counters too, namely trample tokens that came with Ikoria that I really wanted to add into this deck. So let's kind of go over the deck. Our 1-drop stops are obviously the Ozolith, 3 copies of that with 4 copies of Pelt Collector. Again, every creature in here is going to be building 1/1 counters, or other counters on top of that. The other one, Barkhide Troll, great card, 2 mana for a 3/3. It starts with a +1/+1 counter, so if it dies, I mean, yeah, you do have the ability, if you remove a +1/+1 counter, it gains hexproof and end of turn, which can, in later game, be super useful. We also have the Nessian Hornbeetle. I kind of went back and forth on which creature I wanted to go in the 2 slot. I like this one because more than likely you're going to have creatures that are over a 4 power and toughness on this one, so he's most likely going to get one. I can see if you're going to change a card out in here, this is probably the one you'd want to change out. But I love the card. I think it's fun, and I'm going to go ahead and hang on to it. Wildborn Preserver from Throne of Eldraine, still really good, 2/2, but every time you cast another creature, you can put +1/+1 counters on it. It also has Flash and Reach. A lot of people forget that Reach part, which is super important in green decks. The other thing that I really love, I know that it's super expensive. It's a 3 casting cost instant called Fully Grown. Target creature gets +3/+3, which is your basic substandard, what am I thinking, giant growth, but it gets a trample counter. And that is super useful because even if the creature that you dies, you still have that trample counter. That trample counter goes onto the Ozolith, so that any +1/+1 counters that you're putting on the Ozolith is also getting a trample counter with it, which is fantastic for creatures like, I don't know, Yorvo, for example. Comes in with 4 +1/+1 counters. Every time you get a creature, gets more +1/+1 counters. Giving him trample on top of that is just gross. But there's other counters we're going to go with too. So whenever I have a mono green deck, Vivien or the Arkbow Ranger is always one of my favorite cards because you can distribute +1/+1 counters. I've used that before the Ozolith came out. But they also gain trample until end of turn, which is cool. It's not a token, but it is still cool. But it also has the fight mechanic on it, which helps you deal with some of the creatures you don't want to deal with. And you can pull cards from outside the game into the battlefield. But the other Vivien that came with Ikoria, Monster's Advocate, you can look at the top card of your library at any time. If it is a creature's cast, in which most of the spells in here are creatures, you may cast it off the top of your library. Her +1 is a 3/3 beast creature that comes in with any one of your choice of the following counters: a vigilance counter, a reach counter, or a trample counter. So you could end up with, I don't know, a Yorvo that comes in with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample with 12 +1/+1 counters on it. And it's a pretty scary combination to go in there. Her -2 is whenever you cast your next creature spell, you can search your library for a creature card of less or converted mana cost and put it onto the battlefield. I tend not to use that one. Stonecoil Serpent, still one of my favorite, comes in with +1 counters. Protection from monocolored is super useful. Has Reach, already has Trample on it. And Voracious Hydra, because why not? It has a fight mechanic built into it, has +1/+1 counters, and you could double the amount of counters that you have when it comes in. And just for the case, since we do have a sideboard, I might as well go into it. I went with Shifting Ceratops because it's, protection from blue in case you go into a counter one, a control deck. That's usually helpful. And then I went in for Nullhide Ferox because it's got hexproof. We don't really have a ton of non-creature spells anyway. It's okay. I remember this being a big deal whenever it first came out, and it slowly but surely dropped off. It's mostly there to kind of fill in a hole if I need one. So, that is the deck. Again, I did mention before that this is not necessarily a super competitive deck, so we're just going to go play this in open play. So, if you do have a deck that you are currently running the Ozolith with, I'd love to know. I know that it is a super great fit for mono white, and I think I might actually go back and revisit that deck because I don't feel like I built that deck correctly. And I think I did it in historic. I don't think I necessarily did it in standard, but don't quote me on that. It's entirely possible that it was in standard. That's another great area for where that fits in, especially with all the counters that Heliod puts out. It's pretty scary. Flying Turtle. That's a name. That's a name. Okay, not exactly the best start. We are a little slow. The odds and fun opening hand would have been nice, but alas, it is what it is. Charmed kitty cats, you don't say. So the question becomes, do we go Wildborn Preserver or Barkhide Troll? My hope is to get a land so that I can land Barkhide Troll on the next one and then give a +1/+1 counter to the Preserver. I have a sneaky suspicion he's not going to do. Ooh. No, you can have it. All things went exactly as planned. And we're going to take action, because how many more of those cats is he going to pull down on this turn? And we're going to hold. I think this is the mono white cat deck. You can swing. It'll be fun. I think we may have to go fully grown next here. At Johnny's Pride Night. Yep, that's where this is going, and that is where... Ooh. Let's see how squirrely he is. He's just going to let him go. So we are going to go with Yorvo instead. So I have an answer to his Ajani's. Yep, this is all cats. All cats. Okay, so I've had a Johnny's Primate does concern me a little because it can get out in front of me, so let's just take care of that now.
My aim and their claws, you're done.
And we'll hold off from there. Yep. That's why I wanted that Ajani's out of the way quickly. So we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and kill his companion. 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna go ahead and fight that. And kill his companion and ruin his entire deck idea. That is the downside. So in my test games, I was playing against someone who was doing a Bosch deck, and I was like, "Ooh, I killed." I used the exact same tactic where I dropped that down, killed the companion. I was like, "All right, good, I'm good." They can't do anything now because their entire concept behind their deck was broken. This player was smart enough to put an extra one in the deck and actually had one in hand at the time. I don't think he had that case, and I think that's the mistake that people are making with companions. Is they're going, oh, this is the extra card that's in my hand, I'm just going to go ahead and play it right away and build my entire deck concept around it. If you're going to build a deck concept around one single card, you need to be able to understand that it's entirely possible, especially these companions. They're not very big. In that instance, it was a 3-2. That companion can come right off the board. And if you don't have a response to that, that can be a problem. Again, where are our 1-drops? What happened to that magic shuffler that everyone said was broken and delivered cool hands? I don't know about that. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder. There's a deck behind this I'm thinking about. I haven't quite gotten there yet with it, though. But yeah, no, so like if you're going to do companions, I think it's at least considerate. You should debate what happens if my companion dies. Do I have a response to that? Like some of the ones, so I think the big ones, Loris, for example, if you have black, you've got ways to pull creatures from your graveyard out of the graveyard and into the battlefield. There's a response there. But like if you're not playing any type of recursion from the graveyard, kind of in a tight spot. If some, and I know, if I were to channel one of my favorite MTG Arena or MTG YouTubers, period, Desolator Magic, like, well, yeah, if you've got, you know, any response to a single elimination spell can counter it, you're right. That's probably not the direct answer. There. So now we've got counters. Now we've got the Ozolith in play. Now the upside is that's 2 counters built up over here. Come on, my friend. I am curious. This looks like it's going to be more control, which is why I'm happy that the Ozolith is out, because even if he wipes the board, whatever it is he does, those counters do not go away. It's the trample counter that I'm really looking forward to. He's definitely... Rafa hits 2. That's a cool name. Definitely taking his time. I think he missed a land drop, yeah. I think that's part of his problem. I think he missed a land drop there. So we're going to go ahead, drop the old Yorvo, hit him with 6 in the face. So on the next turn, assuming he doesn't put any creatures down, 7, 10, he's dead. So he hopefully has a response here. Otherwise, he is in a world of trouble. If he's building up to getting that companion node, Shadow of the Sky, that's actually fine, because all of those counters... And here we go. We actually get to see this happen. Yep, all of them. Right there, please. That's where, like, the board, like, yeah, does it stink that he killed all that? But, like, all my damage is really going to be coming on this Hornsbeetle that goes through. Sure. Now the question becomes... You can scry. 8, 9, 10, 11. It's going to be enough to... So the question becomes is, does he let this go through? Or does he take the damage? I'm really curious to see what happens here. He's willing to lose it. And the trample damage, and now the trample token sits there. Do I want to risk losing this again? I need to have a creature in play in case he decides to wipe the board again. Which very well could happen. As I stated in the past. So we are going to drop bar. We're going to go ahead and there with 6 tokens. And it's actually going to be a 12/12 with trample. That now has protection from multicolored, so even if he does get his Teferi down, can't actually get bounced. So now he's sifting and searching for a reason, and this is the thing with the deck. Like, all I need to do is have another creature in play now. I've got that trample token down. I've got all these 12/12 plus 1 plus Vanishing Light. Interesting choice. So let's just make sure we've got another creature to put it on. Please put all those on there, yes. 15, 15. Oh, and it can be hexproof. I can just pull one of those off so you can't pull that trick off again. Draw 3 cards, sure. Now I'm running a little lean here. If I don't pull a creature here and he does board wipe, we are in a bit of a position. I'm not going to lie. So if he has another Banishing Light, we will remove one of the tokens from the Barkhide Troll to make it hexproof, to make sure that it doesn't go off. How do you like that? Again, just having that constant stream of creatures, being able to blow down those... I did. That's a very nice thing. I had a fun match. I wonder if they do that whenever players scoop like that. I don't know what the algorithm is for that. I've had that come up where I've had, like... if... You know, did you have a fun match? I don't know what the criteria to have that come up. I had a great match. I don't know if my opponent agreed with it, but I thought that was fun. It was a good counterplay. I enjoyed that. The Grab. That's a name. Okay, possibilities. Possibilities. Again, not getting my 1-drops is a little annoying. 3 games in a row. You guys have been watching. Love Struck Beast. Oh, how I love thee. Almost put that in the deck, to be honest with you, but he didn't build counters up, so it wasn't really useful. Paradise Druid. Ooh, and the Ozolith. Get the fun begin. Questing Beast. Sure. Let's go Yorvo. No, we'll hold on. Sure. See, losing Questing Beast, like if I end up killing Questing Beast with Yorvo, it's actually not that big of a deal because those tokens are just going to go right back onto the Barkhide Troll. So this is actually not a negative. I don't know if he realizes that. Ooh, I'll actually do this. I'm actually going to go pay 1, auto pay, double the tokens, and then put the tokens on there. So now it's a 6/7 trample. No, we'll wait next turn. Sure. I'm a little bit bigger than you. I'm okay with that. How much do we got going on? So let's go here with the Wildborn Preserver. Let's drop another Barkhide Troll. Now we're good. No, I think we'll hold for one more turn. I want to make sure that he's big enough to be able to take on both the 6/6. Questing is sure. Again, it's not going to do you much good. Sure. You want to keep killing your Questing Beast. I'm totally okay with that. Like, every creature you do that to, I'm just going to get more tokens to jump somewhere else. I think we should give more trample tokens. They realize what's going on. Alright, so normally I only do 3 games of the deck, but we're sitting at the 18-minute mark. I think I might go just one more. We'll kind of see the deck. Well, every time I do this, I'll see the deck lose, but we'll go one more game with this. But yeah, no, it seems like, again, do I consider it top tier? Absolutely not. Is it tier 2? Maybe. Probably. This is more kitchen table fun kind of stuff, but I like, these are the kinds of decks I like. These are the kind of games I like. If I can get out of the super competitive meta sometimes and just play a fun get deck, this is the deck I like to play. These are the kind of games I like to play, that is. There we go. Felipe Net. Loch Ness, I've been there. In person. Beautiful. Didn't see anything in the waters, though. Just for the record. So now we get our 1, 2, 3 combo. I like where this is going. We're gonna get mono red. That's gonna be my final insult. They're gonna be like, yep, and now you must deal with mono red. Although that having been said, with I have creatures coming to play with counters on it, mono red might not be that bad of an idea. It might not be that bad. I'm not confident here. This looks more control-y than anything else. Sure. Alright, let's do that trick we did before. Let's go here. We're going to pay 1. We're going to double up the counters and then put that counter right there. So now it's a 3-4. Where are we going, my friend? Do you have another one in hand? Probably. It's a fairy. Yeah, I told you I wasn't that confident about this one. Oh, look, all those counters go right back there. You actually helped me out. So we're going to go and pay 2 here. Is that? Sure, let's do that. Right there. We're just building up those counters now. And that's the upside. Every time it leaves play, even if we're to bounce back to my hand, you're just making it bigger. I think I need to put 2 Hornbeetles down to start building up more counters to put on things. Legion Warboss. Cool, bring it, my friend.
No, I am not making this up as
You have no choice. We'll take that. Even if I attack you and you decide to block with the Legion Warboss, you can't really do much. And that'll handle the Legion Warboss and his companion. I assume he's just gonna let that happen.
Only time will tell.
Yorvo will be next. Sure. I'm gonna take a guess you're not gonna let that happen. Yeah, no, you're not gonna do that. And we'll block that one there. That was a weird how that worked out. So we don't need one of those, so let's go with another Yorvo. Creatures big enough to step on your face. I think the 7/8 trample is sufficient here. Sure. I'm getting the inclination that since he's actually got creatures, he's... Okay. This might be, if I'm not mistaken, this might be... Yeah, I think I know where this is going. I think he is going for Winona, and I don't think he's going to get it off. Sure?
Fire spreads fast. With
Sure? You're going to take the life, my friend. Since you have no other choice? Sure. I'd love to see what you're going to do in the next one. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds good. So I'm just going to attack your face. Yeah, I'm just going to attack your face. So, and no Winona. You could swing at me with a bunch of little guys, and that's not going to work. I think we've got this. You're going to raise the alarm? Okay.
Like fire with fire.
Yeah, he's like, no, no, no. Alright, so I'm actually really surprised how well the deck did on this one, so I do appreciate you watching. Let me know in the comments down below how you did this one. And until next time, guys, we shall see you in the arena. This video was brought to you in no small part by our patrons. If you would like to help out the channel, go to www.patreon.com/oldguygamingmtga, and thank you for your support.